Hello, everyone. My name is Derek, and welcome to Detroit Lions Syndicate. If you are new to this channel, we chat about the Detroit Lions, but we don't chat too much. And you'll never hear Y for yes or N for no on this channel. So if that's your type of thing, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you want the notifications for the videos to appear in the notification feed, hit the notification bell. The first episode of Hard Knocks has aired, and I'm telling you what, if you don't have HBO Max, you need to get it today and go back and check it out. Unbelievable. If you are not hyped about the Detroit Lions, you're going to be stoked after you see this. We will be recapping today's episode. It will be done a wee bit different because I will have to hold my cell phone. It was so much. I took a bunch of notes during it. So let's get started. Here's a recap and things that I took away from the first episode of Hard Knocks. Now, we might eclipse the 10-minute mark during this series because it's a lot to cover. It's a 46-minute episode, but I want you guys to know that this won't be a reoccurring thing. Only time I'll go beyond 10 minutes is if it's absolutely necessary. Okay, so this video will not be highly edited. I'm going to try to go through. If I make mistakes, then so what? I want to get this out. I want to get this, and I want this thing to be super duper fresh and authentic. So here we go. The first thing about Hard Knocks that I realized is that it's not censored. So I was like, oh my God. And whatever you hear, whatever you think you're going to hear, you're going to hear. Dan Campbell has a major potty mouth, but it's awesome because that's a side of him we don't get to see in front of the press and on television. So this thing is 100% not censored at all. The main focus of this episode was on training camp. So they were talking about training camp, and that was the main focus of this episode. The third thing I took away is Dan Campbell is going to be a star. He's already a star. Whatever you think you see on television outside of, you're going to see a whole different Dan Campbell. Take Dan Campbell that you see and ramp him up about 25 spots, and that's the Dan Campbell that you are going to see on Hard Knocks. Another thing is he said, be yourself. Be yourself. And what I love about this is we saw clips about Hard Knocks. We saw little tidbits here and there, but we didn't get the juice. They saved the best stuff for the show. Remember when he said that the speech about us treading water until we bury you? There's a whole other side of that, a whole nother part of that made me want to find the nearest brick wall and run straight through it. He talked about a lot of different things. And it's funny because what he was saying, you can apply to your life as well. So Dan Campbell, one of the messages was be yourself. He actually hurt his wrist when he said he was walking into his house and a bunch of little dogs was at the front, like the front gate, and he had to avoid them. So he fell and landed on his wrist. So when you see him in that speech about treading water until we bury you, he's kind of, he thinks he broke his wrist, so he's kind of going back and forth like this, and that's why. So turns out he had one of the Lions team doctors check him. He did not break his wrist, according to that doctor, but you can see that kind of makes sense as to why he was doing that. So he did 40 up and downs, 40 of them. He did all 40. The camera was on him pretty much the entire time that he was doing it, and he actually told Brad Holmes that he was scared that he wasn't going to be able to do them because of the accident he had with the dog. So I'm telling you, if you don't have HBO Max, it's $14.99 a month. Go get it. Keep it for 2. You can probably get a free trial or something. Keep it for 2 cycles and then cancel it. But it's a good service. I have it anyway. Aiden Hutchinson had to get up there. We had heard about him singing, but he had to get up there, and he told what his signing bonus was, that it was $22 million, and the whole crowd, all of the players went wild, started screaming and yelling. $22 million. He had to introduce himself. And then the best part of this entire show was Aiden Hutchinson singing Billie Jean. He started, and it's funny because you can see how nervous he was. He was absolutely beat. He was as red as Rudolph's nose. It was insane, right? So he was absolutely nervous beyond. These are men who tackle men in front of 80+ thousand people sometimes, but he was nervous to get up there and sing in front of 100 or so. He did a killer job, better than I thought he was going to do, and it was great to see they started singing with him as he got further and further through Billie Jean. He only did like the first verse. And it was kind of awesome. All right, so then they talked about, I didn't know if these were guarding caps or guardian caps. Is to cut down those little mushroom helmets that you see on top of the helmets, the padding. That is to help cut down on concussions when there don't have to be any. So that was kind of good to find out. So then after that, we go to practice, and this practice was absolutely intense. Dan Campbell said that when they put on pads, he said that he needed to prepare them for the season, that he's trying to not only shake the rust off, but also get them prepared to prevent injury as well. So it was kind of cool to see that. One of the things that he was trying to push was pursuit and tackle. I tell you what, from a lot of those clips, the defense got some work to do. They got a lot of work to do. That was in that Hard Knocks clip, but he was stressing pursuit and tackling. The running backs were just annihilating the defensive backs. They could not be tackled. Dan Campbell then got emotional and said all he thinks about is these guys, the guys that he's trying to help. He wants to keep them safe. He wants to keep them healthy, and he wants them to trust him. That was what he said. He said, I want you to trust me. And that is what led into Jamal Williams' epic speech. I made a video about that yesterday. That snippet that we saw was only probably a third of the actual speech. One of the things that stood out about Jamal Williams' speech that you didn't see, he said, real dogs come out when you tired. He said, if you want to be a little dog, then stay on the porch. If you want to eat, come with the big dogs. And I love that. He said, real dogs come out when you tired. He said, that's when champions are made, when you're tired. And that was just part of the speech. He also said to give him everything. And that's when that emotion started to come out from Jamal Williams. So now we switch to Malcolm Rodriguez, the guy that we think is going to be a stud. And they asked him what his signing bonus was, and it was $100K. So comparing to Aiden Hutchinson, it was leaps and bounds, but that's just the nature of the beast. I'm sure if he steps up that second after he comes off that rookie deal, then he could be a monster like Bobby Wagner and then get a big payday down the line. He had to do something. He chose to dance, and he did a horrendous version of the salsa. He had actual music and everything. Back to Aiden Hutchinson, I guess maybe because of copyright reasons, he didn't play it, but he wind up a cappella singing Billie Jean from Michael Jackson, so it was kind of cool. Then I interviewed all of the coaches that were former players, and I think we have 8 of them. And between Dan Campbell and the coaches, we have over 80 years of coaching experience. 80 years of coaching experience. They all talked about how long they had been coaches in the NFL, whether it was assistant or position coaches. HBO doesn't have actual Hard Knocks titles for the episode, so I just came up and I said every week I'll come through and get something that really sticks out to me and title the video. It's Grit, Dream, Love. And that's what Deuce Staley had to say. He was telling the producers and stuff. Deuce Staley is a star as well. And here's something that really stood out to me. And I know a lot of y'all might cringe right here, but I love this. And I'm a believer in this to the fullest extent. We saw Jamal Williams cry the other day. Doesn't mean he's not a man or any less of a man. Here's another thing that he said. He was telling the team that it is okay to tell another man that you love him. He said we have to get out of being afraid to do that. He said telling somebody you love them simply means you care deeply about them. And I absolutely love that. And then they flashed to the Aaron Glenn, Deuce Staley dynamic, and it was a hot mess. They were going back and forth. He said they both said in between the lines, we want to kick each other. They want to mess you up is what they said. A word I can't use. But they said in between the lines, we want to mess each other up. But outside of the field, it's all love. And they have nothing but love for each other. And then near the end of the show, they were talking to the linebackers coaches and different coaches. And Calvin Shepard said, do you think that Aiden Hutchinson is a surefire superstar? And everybody was like, absolutely. He's the real deal. It was so awesome. And then the episode kind of ended from there. They showed some stuff. Deuce Staley is a hot mess. You got to see it. If you don't have HBO or HBO Max, spend the extra money for 2 months and check it out. I'm telling you, the world is going to fall in love with the Detroit Lions. It's already started. And I just got chills, man. I said, this is amazing. I was thinking to myself, we might be in for something great this year. I will say this, and I think the preseason will show us more. The clips that they were showing of the defense, man, oh man, outside of the pass rush and maybe safety a little bit, our defense is in trouble. Our defense might be in trouble. We might not be that much better than last year. But if the offense can score, Jamison Williams comes back, Chark, we're lighting it up. If the offense can put a ton of points on the board, then the defense might not be that big of a deal. You know, the Chiefs had a horrible defense, and they were able to take their team the distance. So if our offense can maybe compensate for our defense, then maybe we might have big things in store. But, you know, defense is a big deal, and we're going to have to address that sooner than later. Y'all know I was screaming about defense for the draft. But anyway, that is my recap of episode 1, Hard Knocks. Grit, Dream, Love is what I call the episode. I'm telling you, go get it. I got to go because I am ready to run through something else. So I will catch y'all in the next video. Subscribe to the channel. Get HBO Max. Hit the notification bell. Help me get to 5K. The Lions are coming, baby. And America is going to have to take notice. We have 32 days into the Lions home season opener, and we have less than 3 into the first preseason game. I will be there. Will you? Let me know. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself. And now, more than ever, go Lions!